Porky Pig's Haunted Holiday, not exactly what comes to mind when you're thinking about horror games, but let me tell you, this game earns the title haunted alright. Porky Pig is up one night reading holiday brochures when he decides it's time to call it a night. But then the actual gameplay starts, and this is where it starts to feel like a nightmare. But not exactly like the type of nightmare with monsters and ghosts, no, like the type of nightmare you get when you have a fever and you keep waking up throughout the night only to be greeted with the nightmare once again the moment you close your eyes. Like, to get to the top of certain areas, you have to stand on a platform where Daffy Duck comes out of nowhere and scares the shit out of you. What the hell? Also, this doesn't sound like the type of music I would associate with Looney Tunes. Porky Pig's Haunted Holiday is a side-scrolling platformer. I don't know why Porky Pig has to look so annoyed when you stop moving. Generally, video game characters don't get impatient like that until you haven't been moving for a while. Here, Porky Pig's just like, oh, you're not gonna play? Well, fuck you then. You fight bats, disembodied shoes, and leprechauns? What is this, a St. Patrick's Day game? To kill the enemies, you can bounce on their heads or throw projectiles once you acquire them. The gameplay is varied enough that it's not a total bore fest. In the second portion of the first stage, you climb a tower which shows off some nifty 3D effect. Again, the music sets a chilling and creepy tone. It's almost unnatural. The first boss is a giant ghost, so there you go, Halloween. Unfortunately, after the first stage, the Halloween theme stops there. Level 2 puts you in a western setting, but this doesn't quite stop that nightmare feel. You got trains that come out of seemingly nowhere. Where are you? When are you? Once you get to the second portion of the stage, you gotta make your way through a maze of doors, which is just trial and error. This stage's boss is Yosemite Sam, and they really let the bullshit factor get out of hand. You gotta time your jump so that you flip this pan into the air to deflect Sam's bullets. The first time I played this, I had no idea what to do, and I lost half of my lives just messing around. The third level takes you to Atlantis, where you ride on a boat past what are probably the most phallic mountains I've ever seen. But the second portion of this stage sucks. Of course, the game's gotta have its obligatory water level, and it's just as annoying as any other. You can't swim, but instead you just move slower and your jumps are more floaty, which makes an already kinda slow game even slower. At one point, you gotta navigate through a series of corridors, kinda like a maze. More trial and error bullshit. You gotta hop on these bubbles, which I swear have the worst hit detection. The struggle just to make it to the top was one of the biggest challenges the game posed. You fight a giant shark and then it's off to the mines. Again, nothing really haunted or horror related here, just your basic mind shit. If you thought this game was trippy up until now, you ain't seen nothing yet. Level 5 starts you out in the Alps. Okay, it's your standard snow level, you make your way through standard ice themed obstacles and the stage takes a dramatic shift in tone and atmosphere. The music is back to being weird and strange. Instead of Daffy Duck scaring you, now it's some horse head. You got ostriches, eyeballs, and flying carrots. Is this from some episode? What's going on? And then, just like that, it's over. You fight a Yeti and then it's off to the final stage, a creepy castle, which thankfully goes back to the horror tone set by the first stage. You make your way inside the castle and a pool area, and you finally fight Daffy Duck. For a final boss, this is pretty anticlimactic. No final boss music, just the same whirring of the machines. You beat up Daffy's robot and that's it. You wake up from your nightmare, go back to sleep, and what kind of ending is this? What were those eyes? Where does Porky go? What does any of this have to do with Porky's vacation? So was it a dream? Was it not a dream? Porky Pig's Haunted Holiday is a mediocre platformer. On Super Nintendo, there were so many better games to pick from. It's not a bad game, nor is it a difficult one. It's just standard. Graphics-wise, it's a nice looking game, but beyond that, I don't really see any reason why I would recommend this game when there are so many better platformers on both the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, the two most popular consoles of that era. And in terms of a Halloween game, it definitely left me with a feeling of uneasiness. It's just a weird, strange game that definitely captures the feeling of being stuck in a nightmare, a place that makes no sense when you wake up, but while it's happening, it seems real enough to stress you out. And that's what Porky Pig's Haunted Holiday was, a nightmare. For Heroes of Fandom, I'm Pollo, and Spoopy Month is still going on. Until next time.